This episode is sponsored by Honeybadger. In addition to Honeybadger's great error monitoring service, they also have an uptime monitoring for web developers. And Honeybadger has recently shipped an update that allows for public status pages that can help communicate outages to your customers. In addition to your uptime monitoring, Honeybadger now monitors your SSL certificates. And Honeybadger now has actions which will allow you to do bulk updates to all your errors, or you can set defaults for incoming errors. When working with an API or your application in general, it's a good idea to have some kind of rate limiter so that if someone is making too many requests to your application, and it could be a good user who is being a bad actor, meaning that they don't realize that they're hammering your server too much, or it could be a bad actor who's doing something malicious. It's a good idea to impose some kind of limitations there. And there is a response code that is meant for this to let the end user know that they are making too many requests, and that is the 429. And in the past, I've covered using the Rakattack gem, which is a great gem, and it's really kind of the standard de facto for these use cases. However, in this episode, I want to have a bit different look, and we're actually going to create our own rate limiter from scratch. And one good use case of this would be something like the Docker Hub, where you can see that they have 200 image pulls per 6 hours, or if you go to a pro plan, you can do 5,000 image pulls per day, and so forth. But maybe there is a business account where they need more than 5,000 image pulls per day, and you want that option to be able to manage that on a per user level. And so while something like Rakattack could work for this implementation, I think it does go a bit out of scope of what it was meant for, as we are having to make sure that certain endpoints are going to be rate limited. We also have to verify that the user is authenticated. We also have to check to see what the rate limit is for that particular user, and then we need a way to keep track of it. And so I don't think this implementation is going to be a replacement for Rakattack, but it could complement it in certain areas of your application, and especially if you're having to do these kind of dynamic rate limiting. So for this example application, we're going to start out with a very basic setup where we have devise, and we also have a scaffold for the blogs. We can visit the blogs, there's nothing fancy going on here, and we can sign in and create an account. And so to start out, let's go to our blogs and let's limit this so the user can't make too many requests to this endpoint. So we can just span this right now, and this isn't really going to do much harm to our application because this is an extremely fast response. But imagine we were doing something like the Docker Hub where we were pulling images. That's going to tax the servers quite a bit more. And so I know this blog scaffold isn't a good example as far as its naming. However, it does have everything that we need to be able to test this, because we do have a dynamic endpoint that could become a bit problematic as we are trying to implement the rate limiter. To watch this full episode and more videos, visit driftinruby.com and subscribe to the Pro membership.